Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another player prop video. This one we're talking about Monday Night Football. We got Eagles, Falcons. I think it's going to be a great game here, so excited to get into this one. We have 4 picks in the video for you to consider, so stay tuned to hear all 4 of the picks we have. We've been going absolutely crazy in the private Discord. You can see a 14-2 MLB run I'm currently on in my channel over the last 4 days. We had Jordan go 6 for 6 with college football. Last Monday Night Football, we went 10-13 in the Discord with the picks. You could see some of the big hits in all sports here. Another 3 for 3 day in the MLB for me. Volo just posted 5 picks from the NFL today. Went 4 of 5 with his picks. A ton of big wins in the NFL, but all sports we're posting on here. So if you want more picks from me plus a bunch of other cappers, you saw some of those crazy winning streaks we've been going on. Last Monday Night Football went 10 of 13. Some big hits over in the private Discord. So get over there. We'll see you in the Discord for more picks. But let's get into this one. So for this game, I'm liking it at a higher scoring one. We have 48.5 here on the points total as the open. It's dropped down to 45.5, but I am liking a higher scoring game in this one. And the Eagles only 4-point favorites in this. I think it's going to be a close, higher scoring game. So when you're picking for a single game slate like this, definitely important to have a game script in mind and build off of that. So we're going to be going with a higher scoring close game in this one. The first pick I have is going to be Drake London. Taking him over on his catches here at 4.5. Like London to be a lot more involved in this one than he was in their opener. Just a tough all-around game and matchup against Pittsburgh for Atlanta in the first game. I think it's going to be completely different, and they're going to have a much better offensive day. You know, they have so many playmakers here. They added Kirk Cousins to get these playmakers going. I think he's going to do that in the second game here against Philadelphia, who had the worst pass defense in the NFL last year. And the Eagles, we could see their first game, they give up 260 passing yards, 2 touchdowns as well. A massive day for Jaden Reed, some huge plays they gave up. So I still think a defense you could target here. Looking at Atlanta versus the Steelers, so we saw the leading receiver here was Ray McCloud, 4 catches for 52 yards. Drake London only got 3 targets, 2 catches in this one. We could look at the snap count over here for the Atlanta Falcons. Drake London played 100% of the snaps. Ray McCloud played just 50%. So I do think that London will be more involved in this one. We also saw Mooney get 95% of the snaps, and Kyle Pitts down here 96% of the snaps. So I do think these guys are going to be more involved in the offense here in this one. They're just on the field basically the entire time. And we can take a look at this one for Drake London over on Outlier. So Outlier, a great tool I use every single day for player props, whether that's MLB going on that crazy streak you saw. Definitely Outlier is something that helps with that. But I use it for all sports over here. So they do have a 7-day free trial. You can check it out in the link down below if you want to. But you can see here, Philadelphia receptions, 31st in the league, giving up 25 per game last season. And then we could look at Drake London last year. So in just 44% of games, he was hitting this. You know, if he hit it one more time, it would be a 50% hit rate for him last year. But obviously not as good of a quarterback situation now coming in with Kirk Cousins here. I do think he's going to have a bigger season. And it's going to start with this game against Philadelphia, something you can target. Another tool I use to find value, because I don't like going against sportsbooks, is OddsJam here. They'll find picks from Prizepicks, Underdog, and they'll show you the value based on other sportsbooks. So Drake London at 4.5, it's minus 140 on FanDuel, minus 140 on MGM, minus 135 on DraftKings. So all these sites are really liking it to go over as well. So I like going with what the sportsbooks are picking as well here. So liking Drake London in this one. For the next one, I'm sticking with the Falcons here. Going to go to Kyle Pitts over on his receiving yards here at 38.5. I think he's going to have a breakout game as well. Like we saw, played 96% of the snaps. Drake London 100. And I think it's going to be a big day for the Atlanta offense. In this one, they're going to get unleashed against this Eagles defense that's not very good against the pass. So liking them to have a nice day. Both of these guys like going to Pitts here. And this is actually a line that Pitts hit last year with a much worse quarterback situation he was with. And I think he's going to have a breakout season. So last year, 9 of 17 games, he hit this one just over 50% of the time. And that was with getting just over 5 targets per game. Expect Pitts to get increased targets especially in this one. And I'm really liking this spot for him. At 38.5, I think we're getting a good line here with Pitts. If we look at Pitts over here, they do have this one at 41.5 on FanDuel, 40.5 on DraftKings. So we're getting at 38.5, 3 yards of savings compared to FanDuel, 2 compared to DraftKings. So liking this as well. OddsJam shows us this one, so liking that for Pitts, getting a bit of a savings on him. At a line I like. Move on to some Eagles picks. So for the first one, going to Devonte Smith, over on his receiving yards at 73.5. So this is one I do like Devonte Smith at, but you can actually get better value on a site like Underdog. So you definitely have to be playing on both if you do a lot of player props. We can look at Devonte Smith, and you can see that his line is at 70.5 over on Underdog. So got to be playing on both. Get some savings here. And they both essentially have the same lines available, but they will have different lines, but the same markets essentially compared to a lot of other sites. So liking Smith more on Underdog, obviously, because of the savings of yards, but still like him here at this line that we're getting at Prizepicks, 73.5. I think he could absolutely smash this one against Atlanta, who I do think has a solid defense, but I think that the Eagles are going to put up points in this. They're the favorites in a high-scoring game here. And obviously, we're not going to have A.J. Brown in this game, which is huge for Smith to get more targets, more catches, and continue to get more yards. And we saw Smith start the season out with a nice yardage game here. So we saw him first game get 84 yards and 7 catches on 8 targets. We could actually see even more targets for Devonte Smith in here without A.J. Brown. So last year, Devonte Smith on this line hit it at 53% of the time. A cool thing you could do on Outlier, though, is only look at games without A.J. Brown. So if we look last year without A.J. Brown, it was only one game, but he got almost 150 receiving yards in this one with 12 targets and 8 catches. So definitely liking Devonte Smith to have a big game here. Like him on the yardage, but obviously taking it on Underdog more so than we are on Prizepicks here. The next pick, we're going to Saquon Barkley. We're going to take him over 16.5 on his longest run of the game. We saw him get 24 carries in the first game. Don't think he's going to get quite as many carries here. I think it's going to be a closer game where they're going to be throwing more and not running the ball as effectively or as much in this one. But I do think Barkley can break off some big gains. We've seen in the past him absolutely have a ton of big runs in every game. Last game he had a 34-yard run, a couple other big ones as well. I think he's going to keep it going, break off a big rushing attempt here, 17 yards or more. It's something that just Barkley has done historically. Obviously, he was in a terrible situation last year as far as the offense he was around and his offensive line. Now we've seen what he could do with a good offensive line and a much better offense. His longest rush here, over 16.5. He hit this in 8 of 14 games last year. Didn't hit it in a couple tough matchups, which ironically were against Philadelphia, who had a decent run defense. In 2 of these last 4 games against Philadelphia, he didn't hit it, but in better matchups like we're going to get against Atlanta, who doesn't have a great rushing defense, you can come over here and look at Atlanta's rushing defense. They allowed almost 120 rushing yards per game last year, which was 20th in the NFL. So a team you can run on. And last game against the Steelers, we saw Najee Harris break off a 20-yard long run. And, he's not a speedster, a burner by any means anymore. Not a guy you're accustomed to having those long runs, and he still broke off a long one against him. So I do think Saquon can do the same, something he's been doing his entire career. Did it at a high rate last year and did it in his first game this year with that 34-yard run here. So liking Saquon to hit this one as well in this game. And if you guys want more picks, check out the private Discord. Ton of big wins over here. Been going on some crazy streaks in the private Discord. I post more picks in here for NFL for this game. Plus all sports here. You can see the MLB run we've been on last 5 days in my channel. 14-2, mostly strikeout props. Jordan, another one of our cappers, went 6 for 6 with college football. Last Monday Night Football, we went 10 of 13 with our picks in the private Discord, so definitely get over there, check it out. It's less than $1 per day or less than winning. Just one $5 3-pick slip, so we'll see you guys over in the Discord. Subscribe to the channel.